Hello and welcome. Today we're sorting out the rear brakes on a 2007 Astra 17CDTI Estate. I started by getting it up in the air, supporting it on axle stands and taking the road wheels off, which revealed a knackered disc. The caliper was seized. It was just a bit of a mess really. So I decided to take the caliper off and the caliper carrier off together. It was held on by two male Torx or star drives. Then I removed the handbrake cable linkage and just pulled it off as one lump. Then there was another Torx holding the disc on, a little grub screw. And on this side, as you can see, there's no dust cover, no dust plate. So Vauxhall made it nice and easy, so you've got to take the entire hub off and the back plate to get a new dust cover on. And at this point I wish I'd have took the caliper apart while it was still mounted. It would have been a lot easier. The sliders were seized on the caliper carrier, so I had to take it into the workshop to free everything up and repack it with grease. Also get it a wire brush while I'm in there. And to remove the hub and the back plate, there was 4 studs going through the axle, and in the centre of the hub was the ABS connection, which was seized together. So I had to be right gingerly with that because I didn't want to break it. I was hoping that once I got the 4 studs undone, the back plate would separate from the hub, but that wasn't the case. So I had to remove the stud that holds the brake parts on and take the entire unit into the workshop. Now this is a bit of a reconstruction because I'd already done it once. I just put 2 blocks of wood, then tapped each stud until it's separated. And then get all the faces, a good wire brush and a good clean. This is my new dust plate. As you can see, it fits in between the hub and the back plate. Then it was just a case of slotting it back on the axle and tightening everything up. So I slotted the new disc back in. I put a bit of grease on the grub screw and tightened that back up. Then give the disc a good clean with some degreaser. Get all the cutting compound and grease off. I then re-bolted the caliper carrier back on. and then wound the piston back in the caliper, but it didn't feel right, so I suspected at this point I'd have to get a new caliper. And as a general rule of thumb, a grinding disc tool for changing grinding discs generally fits perfect for most calipers I've found anyway. Then I put the anti-squeal shims in and pop the pads in. I put a bit of copper grease on the back of the pads. Always remember a dab will do you and a dollop will screw you. And then give everything another wipe down. The adjustment for the handbrake cable is inside the car next to the handbrake, so I backed the nut off so I could undo the yoke underneath. All the mountings for the handbrake cable were rubber into metal sleeves, so I needed to coat them with penetrating oil so I could pull them all out. I've actually lost a bit of footage here when I was putting the new handbrake cable in, but beware if you are doing one on an estate particularly, one side of the handbrake cable is slightly longer than the other, so make sure you're going the right way around. And then I connected the ends up to the calipers and then readjusted it inside the car next to the handbrake. But I just couldn't get a decent brake on this side. The other side was fine, so I ended up going and fetching a new caliper. I thought it best to be safe than sorry. And it certainly looks a lot better than when we started. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.